Hello, hello, hello. So this is going to be a short video and it's just going to be like a bonus material for the Introduction to Vray series that we've done and finished recording last week. And here I'm just going to show you a few things that I've kind of not necessarily missed, but I didn't have a chance to show in that particular project. So here I'm just going to show it on an empty file. And also there has been a recent update that gave us a possibility to access a free library straight up from Vray in Rhino, which is super exciting. And this is, I guess this is the main reason why we have this video in the first place, why we're doing this video. So I'll basically touch upon three things here. I will show you how to do godrays, what's called godrays, basically where you have fog and you have light filtering through, let's say, the leaves or filtering through the window. So you have some dust particles in the air and you see the rays of the light. I'll show you how to do that. Then I'll show you what caustics are and how you can kind of deal with caustics in Vray, and maybe we will start with the library, right? And then me showing you how to use the library. So for you to be able to access it, you need to install the newest update to Vray, which is, I believe Vray 5.1 or Vray 5 update 1, something like that. And once you have installed it, you will see this little icon right here that says Chaos Cosmos browser window, right? Chaos Cosmos, that's the name of the library. If I click on it, it's going to think a bit and it's going to open up this window here. And here, as you can see, I can choose a few things here and there, and I can kind of figure out what kind of pieces of furniture or HDRIs I want to upload into my scene. So I already have a few downloaded and others I haven't. So I will just pick one that I haven't downloaded yet, right? So I'll go to 3D models here and I'll go to, let's go for furniture. I'll just choose something super simple, chair 001, this red chair here. And I'll click that download button and it's going to download it for me. There we go. And now once I click on this green icon here, then it's going to minimize the browser window and it's going to ask me where do I want to place it, right? So I'm just going to place it right here and hit escape. I can minimize that, zoom out, and it's going to place the chair right where I want it, right? Where I said it needs to place. So it's very, very convenient. For instance, let me delete that and do it again, but this time I will just draw out some sort of a box thingy, right? Some sort of a platform. Let me go for shaded view, draw another one, Boolean difference those two, like that. And now I can take the same chair, import it, like so, and place it here. And I also can place it here, right? Quite nice. Then I hit escape to finish or enter to finish the command, and I will just kind of move them somewhere here, right? So basically, those chairs, if I select them, they are regarded as meshes by Rhino. But if I go to Vray Asset Editor here, under options, or not options, under objects, I can see there's chair 001, which is regarded as, I don't even know what, like, the Chaos Cosmos object, right? If I expand that, I can see how the chair looks like, and I can see how it's being represented. If I zoom in, and let me actually go to display and turn on mesh wires like so. So I can see that the chair is being represented in a low resolution, as a low resolution mesh, right? So that's the representation right here. If I kind of select it and make it into, let's say, high resolution mesh, this is the original subdivisions of the chair. Much better, right? And then you have the possibility to do a bounding box, for instance, and then yada yada. So I'll keep it as low resolution. If I just hit the render button right now, the chair just renders out quite nicely, like that. And it's, you know, it's the chair. So it basically works like a proxy, even though it's not. How do you make it into a proxy? Also, keep in mind, you don't have a material for that chair. Even though it's rendering out of a material, you don't have it in your browser window. That's because it gets all of its things externalized, right? So it's not internal in the file or in the 3D model. If you click on this merge button right here, it actually says what it's going to do, right? So it's going to convert it into a proxy, right? And now once I click the merge button, you have 3 materials here, right? And also in the material editor, now I do have those 3 materials that I can get into and change up, right? So let's say if I want the seat to be actually green, now I'm able to change it. And if I click the render button, now it's going to render out green rather than red, right? So, but this is still a proxy. Where is it? Hello, there it is. It's still a proxy, meaning that if I make a copy of it, there we go. It's still a single chair, right? It's a single model, right? So I can select objects in scene and then both of them get selected. So it's like an instance of the same object. So this is basically how it works. And let's just kind of look at what we can get from here. So you have furniture, of course. You have sofas and armchairs. I'm just going to kind of scroll through this real quickly so that you can kind of get an idea of how big the library is. You have chairs. That's it. You have tables, right? Bedroom, like beds and storage things, office furniture things. I like that table right there. So stuff like that. Outdoor furniture, umbrellas and so on. Accessories. You have decoration. You know, you can get a grand piano, for instance, or a rug. That's also very, very good to have. And all of these come in textured, like perfectly textured. So that is, in my opinion, that's super. You know, books and whatnot. Usually you spend so much time texturing books. Electronics and appliances, you can get a washing machine, you can get a laptop. Wonderful. You know, you get all of this kind of cool stuff here. Then you have lighting fixtures. So you have different sets of lamps. You have vegetation. So you have trees, right? A bunch of trees, by the way. Some of them are blooming, some of them are not. Some cherry blossom trees. You have indoor plants, shrubs and bushes, flowers and grass, right? So really useful stuff. For vehicles, it's nothing too fancy, but you do have like a few cars here and there. That's you even have the Tesla Model 3, Model S, I don't know. But you do have a bunch of cars, and then you have people as well. So, for instance, let's get a person in here. I'll just get Tony and Vito. we'll see how they look like near the chair. So download it, import, click. That's it. Escape. Close that. We have Tony and Vito just being bros right here. Click the render button, and there they are, just standing there, all textured, all nice. So you can see why I'm making this video. This is super convenient and super fast to do. One last thing that I want to note is that there's also HDRIs that are available for you. So for instance, you can download, let's go for an evening HDRI. I already have this one here, so I'll just use it. import. So it gets imported, right? But I don't get a chance to, use it. It just says that it got imported. So if I go to Vray asset editor now, and I go to textures, which is this icon right here, I can see that my sunset HDRI is right here, my texture, right? So what I can do is I can right click on it and I can choose to copy. Then I can go to settings, environment, and I can paste it here, right? Or I could just kind of create a dome light, for instance. I guess that's a better way to do it. Create a dome light, just place it anywhere here, doesn't matter. And then when it asks me to give it a HDRI image, I'll just hit the cancel button. You can't see it, but it's here. I just hit the cancel button. So it creates an empty dome light. But now I can go to Vray asset editor, go to this dome light, and wherever it says color texture, I can take that environment texture, right? Copy. I can come back to, oh, sorry, not the environment texture, the sunset texture. Copy. I can take the dome light and I can paste it here. Paste as copy, like that. And also, of course, tick mark it so that it actually uses the texture. And that's it. That should be enough for it to use the dome light. Let's see. Let's see if it's gonna work. It's thinking now. The dome light is a little bit big. Okay, so it's super bright, but I think it's gonna work. Let me make this a bit smaller. Just position it right here. Where did you go? There we go. Like that. And let's go and check settings, exposure value. Let's make it, if it's too bright, then we need exposure value to be less. So let's do 12. Let's check it again. Yeah, that's becoming better. Let's do 13. Check it again. Yeah, so 13 looks fine, looks okay. I wonder why is this messing up a bit. Maybe if I do this, yeah, this is gonna be fine. Minimize that. There we go. That's what you get, right? That's what you get with the new update of Vray 5. I like it. I like it a lot. This is going to reduce a lot of headaches. Okay, so that was the first thing that I wanted to show. Let me just delete all of it. Right. The second thing is that I want to kind of talk about is let's do caustics first, right? So it's caustics are, how do I show you? Let's do it this way. Caustics, images. Oh, okay, right. So Caustic is a hero in Apex Legends. No, Caustics are these, right? They are these reflections or refractions that are created through curvilinear refraction of glass or any kind of transparent material. Right? Those are caustics. That's what we want to see. So right now, this thing right here doesn't have any caustics whatsoever, right? It's just a transparent shadow. It's kind of believable, but it could be better, right? So how do you turn on caustics? Well, the first thing is that you can't have caustics with real-time rendering. You can only have, or you can only test out caustics properly with like the final pass rendering, right? So interactive rendering, we turn it off and we just keep the progressive rendering turned on. Then you expand the right-hand side of your asset editor, the settings of the asset editor. You go to global illumination, and here where it says, where is it? Oh, right. So once you're in the global illumination tab, you need to click on this icon right here, which switches to advanced settings. You click on that, and then you will see GI Caustics. You expand that. You turn on reflective caustics. That's important. And also you go to photon mapped caustics right here and enable this. Now if I click render, so I enabled this and also GI caustics. Now if I click render, you can see that almost nothing changes, right? And the reason for that is that this multiplier is super, super weak. So if I change it up to 1,000,000, turn it up to 1,000,000, now it should be much better. And it's not. Hello, it's me from the future. So apparently Vray's son, or Rhino document's son, really sucks at caustics. Didn't know that. So what we need to do is we need to actually use the spotlight tool. And let me delete this one and just kind of create a new one so that we're on the same page. I still have the same setup. So the Vray spotlight tool is located right here, and we just basically click, and just click. Right, 3 clicks creates a spotlight. This is the source from where it shines light. This is the target towards where it shines light, right? So we kind of center the target onto the glass. And I kind of want a pretty steep angle. Let's say it shines light from here, something like this. And now it should work, right? So if I click on the render button, I can see that it's super dark. Well, now you can see that it's super dark. And the reason why it's super dark is because the spotlight has the inverse square decay setup. So to not have it super dark, we need to choose just inverse decay rather than inverse square, and also we need to mess around with the exposure value to get the correct exposure, right? So let me zoom into the glass and click that render button to just see what happens, and we are way too close, so let me zoom out a bit. Click the render button again, and I clicked the wrong one. Click this one. So this is what we get, and all of these kind of things right here that are happening are indeed caustics, right? Caustic effects. The quality of it is super low right now. Oh, by the way, I also kind of messed around with the material. So let me bring it back to glass crystal. And let's hit that render button to just see if if it's going to change anything. It doesn't change anything. It's still, the caustic effect is still there. Okay, so how do we make it better? Well, the first thing is our render output needs to be better, right? So 720 pixels at least for me. Then for the light options themselves, if you expand the options and you go to caustic photons, you can increase the amount of photons that are being produced. And the more photons, the bigger resolution. Bigger resolution means the more accurate this gets. So I will go for, let's go for something that's, let's say 5 times more. So 5,000 photons, just to check. And then here, there's also like a few things that you can change here in the multiplier and whatnot, but I will not be messing around with those anytime soon. So now let's check it out. Oh, by the way, since I've increased the photon map, you can see that now it's going to do the building caustics photon map. This part is going to take a little bit of time, but shouldn't be too long, right? And we end up having this. And now we can start seeing these really nice streaks going on, right? And this is what we start getting with the increased photon map resolution. And it's super, super nice. And also some additional reflections are going on here, right? So this is becoming more and more realistic. Let me take this glass and rotate it 90 degrees, move it down. Let's make sure that it's kind of not intersecting too much. And make a copy of it, perhaps place it like so. And let's also increase the caustic subdivisions even further. Let's do 10,000, right? Render. So now it's going to render it out at with 10,000 photons. So you can see how slow the caustic photon map gets. And also keep in mind, I'm not in the interactive render, right? So I can change things here and it's still going to kind of continue rendering the old version. So while it's calculating the Caustics photon map, I can go to settings. And here, once it's done, I can go to disk caching, right? And I can click on the save file, right? So that the photon map is saved. And the next time we render it out, we don't need to wait for this portion. It's going to kind of use that external file to kind of fetch the information that it's currently generating. There we go. So it started recording. It started rendering, not recording. And you can see you know, that the effects that we are getting, right? From the rim, we get the nice reflections here, we get some interesting stuff going on here, and so on. I can kind of, I think I have, let's see, if I'm able to increase the exposure a bit without messing it up. Yeah. So if I increase the exposure, we can see it even better, right? So this is how it works, and this is what it produces. So that's caustics, and you can experiment with those. They're really useful for pools and whatnot. Oh, by the way, I can save the file anywhere. Hit the save button. And then once I've saved it, I can save from file. I can choose the source file. Same thing, caustic map, open. And now, like that caustic map that was cached, every time when I render it, it will not need to calculate the caustics map. It's still building the Vray, but besides the Vray, the caustic map will not take too long. Let me stop this. We don't want to wait. Okay, so that's caustics. Last thing is godrays. How do we show godrays? So I will create a little bit of, let me unlock this. I'll create a little bit of a room. So let me just create a box, start from 0, and let's say the length or the width of the box is, let's say 5 meters, something like that. And the length of the box, let's say, is 20 meters, something like that. And the height, 3 meters. Messed up the height. Scale 1D to unmess it. 3000 millimeters. Enter. There we go. And then I will just create a shell from this box, like that. The thickness of the shell is bad. Thickness, let's say 10 centimeters. There we go. So we have some sort of a room situation going on. And just to create some windows, I will create this kind of box thingy, and let's make the windows super small. Position them like so. Bam. And maybe let's say they start from the middle, and just kind of, I don't need them to be accurate, so I'm just going to kind of do something like this. Boolean difference. Bam. Delete. And I have a scene, you know, a room with a few windows. I'm just going to kind of finish up this room by creating a a backside wall there. Okay. So we have this kind of a view. Let's start rendering it out just to see, you know, what we get. And we don't get much. That's because we don't have any lights. And I'm going to turn on the Rhino document sun now. And it's still completely black. Why is that, I wonder? I think that's because the light is not hitting the inside, and also we don't have the skylight. So I'll go to settings, turn on the skylight. Now it's a little bit better, still pretty bad. And what I need to do is go to sun here. Yeah, and basically just find a good angle for the sunlight. Something like that, and maybe the sun is a little bit lower. Something like this, right? So this is a room with which we're gonna work, right? And this is the room in which we want to have the those godrays effect going on. Let me pause the rendering for a bit, and let's see what we can achieve. So first of all, I want the room to have a material, right? And I want the material to be pretty dark. So I'll just select everything in the scene, Control A, and I'll just apply the generic material, the medium gray material to it. So now the room is going to be super dark, right? If I hit the render button, you can see that only, you know, the windows and the light that hits the ground is kind of gets any light here. Actually, no, you get a lot of light bleed from the corners, so I'll tone it down a bit. Let's do 13, exposure value of 13, so that it's a pretty dark area. So now how do you get godrays? You go to volumetric environment, you turn that one on, and now it's all full of fog, right? And you don't choose aerial perspective, rather you use environment fog. Aerial perspective is useful for stuff that's very far away. Environment fog is useful for stuff that's close by. Now it's turned, now you can't really see it. If I turn emission on to white, it starts glowing, and then you at least can see where the fog is. And as you can see, it goes right along the floor, right? That's because its height is only 20 centimeters above the XY plane. So I'm going to increase the height to 5,000, so 5 meters above XY. And I'm going to turn off the emission so that it's not glowing by itself. But I'm going to increase the distance, the viewing distance, because right now you can only see a meter in the fog. So it's a soup, basically. So I'm going to increase the distance to, let's say, 10,000. That's it. You can see the light, right? That's all you need to do. Easy, huh? The light streaks are here, and I could kind of keep rendering it, but as you can probably tell, it's gonna work quite well. So the larger the distance, less of a effect you're gonna get. Here we are still getting some effects even with 100,000 millimeters of viewing distance. So what I'm going to do is I will leave this to render, and I'm going to show it at the end of the video, which we are currently at, right? So as I said before, this is a short one. Hope you've learned something new. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.